Hi everyone, it's been too long since we did one of these little discussions, but I want to start by saying I'm going to be more productive now in all areas of this amazing sport of ours. I have a new weekly show starting, which is going to be a quick fire, short show, crammed with all the latest news from around the world of pool. It'll be jam-packed with everything you need to know about all Q Sports related stuff. Now then, I've got someone with me, Sirjohn Berille. You can see him there, ex-pro snooker player from France. Now he's a very big name in the Philippines in the world of pool. There's no player in the world he doesn't know. Hi, John. How you doing, mate?
Hello, Mark. I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
Right, we've got lots to talk about, John.
Yeah, and, I'm very happy to be here.
Thanks, mate. So I want to start, well, there's only one place to start, of course, the World Cup of Pool. Now, there's lots of little bits that I want to discuss about the World Cup of Pool. It was overall, I think, a very, very successful event, but it started out with a little bit of controversy. Efren Reyes was going to be playing with Carlo Biardo, a great team. See the magician back in action on our TV screens, but it didn't happen. Now, I've got my own thoughts on this. I thought it was maybe just some little bit of a publicity stunt on behalf of Matchroom to like build up some interest into this tournament. Of course, then it reminded me a little bit of the El Strickland situation for the Mosconi last year. The COVID related, as we know. What's the situation as far as you know, John, regarding the Efren Reyes not coming to the UK to play the World Cup Pool?
Yeah, first of all, for Strickland, he let him down all the team, you know, all the Mosconi team, right? So it was very sad. Plus all the fans, it was terrible. And for Efren, it happened exactly the same. So I think Matchroom got unlucky for this part because the story that I understood, because Carlo Biardo just posted a video with an explanation. It's in Tagalog English. It's really friendly on the Black Tiger website. What happened? It's in the same time we had when we got the announcement of Efren. In the same time there was a SEA game here in Asia. So. Efren joined it. He did semi-final, and then he didn't have time to rush for the visa, but he actually did it just before to leave to Vietnam. But what happened, instead of applying for a priority visa, he just applied for a regular visa, which takes much more longer. That Carlo Biardo and his wife got their visa, plus they got their flying ticket already prepared. And just 1 week before to leave, they said, "Oh, we're going to check on Efren." And then they found out that he made a mistake, and he didn't apply for the right visa. So it took too long, and they missed it.
It seems to happen a lot with the Filipino players, you know, always problems with their visas. How can this kind of thing just keep on happening? Why? I know Efren's got a manager. Surely he's the guy that's sorting out the visa long in advance. You know, it can't have been a last minute decision for Efren to play for.
I discussed many times with Efren before because I wanted to bring him to France. And he always told me, if I go to France, I will go with you because, you know, it's first of all to get the papers ready with a Schengen visa in Europe. It's kind of complicated. It takes 2 or 3 weeks. But definitely in the Philippines, if you are not an athlete, if you're not a professional pool player, if you don't have the card that are already made for Wonder Boy, for your information, you cannot travel at all. And it's one of the reasons why also some of players got some problem now in US because they don't have the athlete visa card and they cannot stay a certain period, you know, more longer, even though you're going to have some tournament and you're going to have invitation ahead. So we cannot blame too much Matchroom, but of course, they should know that when they invite people from Taipei or people from Singapore or from the Philippines, they should double check those players and get a backup. Actually, they got a backup with Orculio, because I think it was the first call, and then he could not attend because there is some leagues, here for the Philippines, the pro players in north of Manila, and so he could not attend. And they got a second backup, which was Jeff De Luna, but Jeff De Luna got already an invitation in Indonesia, so he was not able to join as well. And then we have another player, which is a pro player who has these athlete cards too, which is Joan Chua. And Joan Chua is just launched a new movie called Borrera for pool player. The girl, it's a story about a girl. It's like Netflix series, but in the Philippines, who plays pool, so to promote pools, which is actually very nice.
Wow. Okay. So look, that's that part sort of sorted out. Hopefully that they can get their visa situation sorted out, because we love the Filipinos coming over here. I think, a pool tournament isn't really a pool tournament unless you've got a Filipino or two in it, right? So let's, talking about different countries, we had Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, we had Canada, the US, of course, many countries, Argentina. I want to discuss the format, John, because if you're spending like the Australians did, a lot of money and 27 hours on a flight to get to the UK, to turn up and just play a race to 7, I really, really would like to see a change in the format of this World Cup. It's not really a World Cup. If you take football, soccer, for example, it's always done in group stages, and then the final 16 will go through to the last 16, 8, 4, 2, and the winner, of course. I would love to see this in pool. We've got 32 teams. There's no reason why we can't have 8 groups of 4, a decent race to 9, top 2 go through, so we get down to 16, 8, 4, 2, and then the final, of course. I want to see at least a race to 9 in the group stages, a race to 10, and then 12, and then maybe 13 in the final. How do you envisage because Emily Fraser hinted at tweaking this format somewhat. She did mention that the long journeys that some teams were making to the World Cup of Pool. What format do you think would suit best?
So first of all, when I saw the draw and all the teams involved for this World Cup of Pool, my first comment was we'll have more losers than winners in this tournament. It's not about having a one winner. It's about to have 90% of losers, because all the teams are great, and with a race of 7, like you said, is too short. So plus it's a winner breaks. So definitely, you never seen that in tennis. It's like if you serve and you get ace, and you don't have any chance.
Just hold up on that, because that's a separate conversation that I want to have with you about alternate break versus winner breaks, because I've done some research on it and I'd like to keep that as a separate little issue if we can.
Okay, so we'll continue about the format. Yeah,
the format.
Okay, for the format, for me, it's not so much as a fan. Okay, as a fan, it's not really. It comes together. It's come together, meaning it has to be the best of the best. For me, it was not the best of the best team. If you have too many teams, and if you play for race to 7, I think it comes together. You know what I mean? So I would say less is whether less countries and longer race, or if the same number of countries, but you have to go race to 5, and making in the groups, making the groups, and make like the best of the first 3, for example, or the first 2 of each group, but a short race to make the game exciting, you know, because if there is more teams, meaning the level is going down, because you know, the top players, you know, are really the top 20, I would say, in the ranking. It will not be so exciting, you know, if you see people missing and everything. Better short race, so at least it's more exciting for the fans. What do you think?
Well, I don't think you can go certainly no lower than 7. I would dispute that. And I
if
think
it's a group, you make a group, and then you make a group of 4 teams. They play each other, and you take the best of the first 2 or the first 3.
We're talking about a World Cup here. You know, it's a huge tournament, right? And to get the best team, you need. I'm not saying you need race to 25 or something like that. What I'm saying is that it's the question of people coming here. You know, if you say you want to race to 5, so even if you've got group stages, so you've got people coming from Australia, the team comes from Australia, they might get beat 5-0, 5-0, and that's it, and they're home. So that's 10 racks of pool that they've played.
Yeah, but it gives to them more chances to play. Okay, but don't forget that Mushroom might have some problems with coverage. I think there's the reason why they are making a race to 7. It's a timing, and then we might have some issues with the coverage. So if it's the case, and if you want to have a tournament with more excitement, from my point of view, it's not 32. It's not 32. How many teams did we have? I think it's half of the team that we get.
32 we had. But why not then still have 32, but only televise the last 16? Have the first group stages. Have the first group stages free to watch, for everyone to watch on YouTube, on Facebook. Give it maximum coverage, and then if scheduling is a problem, then put the last 16 on Sky Sports and on DAZN. But I just think it's unfair to make some people in the world pay for it when others don't have to.
But yeah, for me, what is unfair, definitely, it's, as you said, is a short race, especially when you come from far, right? And then what is unfair as well, if you look at the pool, the time when you play one game is about 3 to 4 minutes, right? One game. If you look at the snooker, when they play, it's about 6 minutes one game, one frame, right? So, and if you look at the world tournament in snooker, they play race to 13, and then they play race to 17 or race to 18.
And
so
then
I always
been final,
I always been surprised for the World Cup of Pool, or for the World 10 Ball Championship, or it's always a short race compared to the snooker, because definitely the pool is much faster. Plus we have a timer, right? So I always been surprised for that point. And then I figure it out that it's because we have too many players playing as the last stage compared to the snooker. Maybe the last 16 or
no,
the last 32.
The last 32 go to the crucible.
The last 32, okay.
The last 32.
So maybe we should copy a little bit this format to at least to be more fair with the players, because definitely it costs money. And then what about the prize money? What about compared to the expenses? That when you travel, when you stay 1 week, it's amazing, right? I think today is complicated still complicated for the pool player, even if Mushroom is making a great job putting many events a year, more events a year, so more prize money. There's more prize money, or definitely, because the winning team got like $60,000, which is really nice. But still, still a lot of expenses.
30,000 each. So, you know, there's, whenever the question of money comes up and prize money in sport, everyone goes on about what Matchroom are doing, but there's lots of other people doing lots more for not just 9-ball as well, for 10-ball, for 8-ball, for straight pool. There's lots of other, you know, one pocket. We've got lots of other people in the world doing a lot. And I want to bring up Predator now and CSI, of course. And let's not forget that Predator gave away 60,000 to one person for winning the Predator World 10-ball in Vegas recently. They also gave 30,000 to the Las Vegas Open winner. There's 6 other tournaments a year with 25,000 first prize to the winners of the US Pro Billiard Series. They've added 6 new women's events, which, you know, Kelly Fisher has just won 20. She won 20,000 in Vegas. She's just won another 20,000 in Germany, winning the Predator German Open. So there's lots of other companies out there doing stuff, promoting more than just 9-ball, the pro 9-ball circuit. You know, CSI are running amateur tournaments, league tournaments around the States and also around other countries now. There's the Canadian Open coming up in August with a big prize fund. I think it's about $150,000 or something prize money, you know. So there's big things happening everywhere. Now, this, of course, is raising a new problem. Okay, it's a nice problem to have, but now there's only 52 weeks in the year. How do we fit all these tournaments in? I mean, with prime example now is the Predator event in Canada, which I just mentioned. Matchroom want to run the European Open in Germany, in Torsten Hollmann's home city.
And Fuda, right?
Yeah. Yes, and the only place that they had a choice of 2. So they've chosen one date, which now is the 9th to the 14th of August, leaving just 2 days before the event in Canada, which was arranged long ago. Now, I know it's a nice problem to have, and Matchroom are kind of saying, look, if you want to play in all these events and you've got to play, if you want to play in the big events, you've got to come and play in all of them. Well, it's just not possible. Now, you've got all these tournaments around America on the doorstep of a lot of Americans. There's lots of Europeans spending a lot of time in the States anyway, right? But it just seems to me that now it's becoming like a battle with Matchroom going against other companies who, you know, Matchroom just want to control everything. And I don't know, it just seems kind of like they're monopolizing, and I don't want to use the word threatening because it's not, you know, it's kind of I think they're kind of saying, look, come and play in our events or all of our events, or don't play in any, you know, don't play in the big ones. I mean, how do you see I don't want to call it a divide, because hopefully both companies are doing great things towards growing the sport.
I feel like you said it's good for the players because it's a problem that they didn't have before, to get too many tournaments. But for those who don't need money, you know, there are some players who are really comfortable with the money. I'm thinking about Shane Van Boening, was traveling just for becoming the #1 in the world. He's not really concerned by the money. It's what he said last time. He said, I don't really need money. I just go for, you know, showing that I'm the best. If you look at Fedor Ghost, that got more money than other players without attending any of those events from Matchroom, or, you know, just play the local tournament in US and got more money than the other pro players. It's of course, I think this is an issue for for the pro players and top 50, you know, top 50 pro player, or some of them are very struggle with the money, with the sponsor.
And it takes the pressure off of the likes of Shane Van Bonen and Fedor Gorst, because they don't have to go and win, as you say. So it doesn't really matter to them. They can play a little bit more relaxed, maybe. I just want to say congratulations, though, to both of those players that you just mentioned. Fedor Gorst, who's just become the proud owner of a club, or a part owner of a club in Louisiana in the States. And also Shane Van Bonen has just caught his first 40-inch fish. He's been looking for this elusive 40-incher, and he's finally caught it. I saw him on the on Facebook this morning showing off his new prize catch.
Yeah, it seems that the best player are doing fishing.
Yeah. Yeah, Darren
he's competing with Darrell Appleton.
And Jason Shaw loves to fish, of course.
I would love to have on your show one of those pro and get their point of view. Maybe not the top because they are already comfortable with the money part, but I know because I've been in touch with some of the top 10 pro players. Some of them they have some businesses aside to pool, so that's why they play pool. They are not, they didn't. Pool wasn't a hobby, and then it becomes like a full-time job, because they got some other thing, real estate or some other things that some other incomes aside to pool. It's what I mean.
Look, John, I've just had the 10-minute warning for my Zoom meeting, so I just want to go through very, very quickly the argument about alternate. We'll do this in two parts. We'll do a little bit. We'll do another bit later on. Okay, so I'll join them together later on, but we'll just do one for now, and then we'll put it up in two parts onto Facebook and YouTube. Okay, we just want to go through the argument about alternate or winner breaks. I think in any race lower than 25, I'd like to see alternate break. I know you always hear about people going on about, oh yeah, but if somebody gets 8-0 up in a race to 9, there's no chance of the other person to come back. Well, look, here's my argument. If the break is as important and crucial as every player and fan of the sport says, right, it's really, really important, right? So if it really is that important, then surely it's obvious that it should be alternate break. Why, in a game that relies on the break so much, a bit like the serve in tennis, I know we always liken it to that, but it kind of is the same thing. If it's so important, then why should one player have more opportunity to get away than the other? That's my first point. My second point is going back to that, oh yeah, but if somebody gets 8-0 ahead, somebody can still come back. That is so rare. Okay, we saw it recently with Mika Immonen. He was 10-3 up or whatever it was, and Shane came back to win the match. But, I can count the number of times that happened in the last year on one hand. I don't think it really happens that often. Look, here is my ideal scenario. This is what I would like to see at tournaments. I'd like to see alternate break. I'd like to see the 9 on the spot in 9-ball. I'd like to see template rack all the time. If you want to get the best and the most consistent racking of balls to make it fair for each player, then just use a template rack. All this using the triangles and the refs taking forever and keep looking, and then the player comes up.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, I saw one game last week. I forget what it was now. He came up and asked for the rack to be re-racked about 5 times. I mean, that is just ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's boring to watch.
Absolutely right. So what I'm saying is either use a template or get the triangle rack, put it up, 5 seconds, take the rack away and let them break the balls, because all this messing around with the rack, checking it, gaps, oh no, there's a gap there, I think, as you say, is very, very boring for the viewer. Give me your thoughts.
Plus now we have all the statistics. So if you have alternate break, you can see if the guy doesn't put any ball on the break and then the other guy is running out. So you can count the number of running out still. Even if you're not breaking, you can even get those stats. I run out the table without, without breaking, or I run out the table with the break, which is very interesting to watch. Plus, what I like from Mushroom, they legalized the size of the pocket. They made it standard for diamond table and predator table, if I'm not mistaken. And then now it's 4 inches.
And Rasson, yeah.
Rasson.
Matchroom done it for Rasson and Diamond, and of course Predator are doing it also with
so definitely it's good for the sport, because you can see that some pro snooker players they definitely do not talk about the size of the pocket anymore, because
that's a whole new thing. It's a conversation that we're going to have in the next recording that we do, John, because I'm going to have to go now because we're running out of our time limit on Zoom. But yeah, I want to talk about the crossover of snooker and pool. The Carlo Biardo and Efren Reyes' substitutes, if you like, was a snooker team from Thailand. How they came up with that, I don't know. Probably because they were in the same country. They were already in the UK for snooker. So it was probably right. We've got these here. Let's get some snooker players in. But that is a conversation for another time later on when we do our next little discussion. Okay, so I'm going to stop this now. Thank you so much, John. And we'll be back with part 2. Well, for you guys, almost immediately, because I'm going to post both of them at the same time. Okay, thanks very much, guys. Speak to you soon.
Thank you so much.